Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hey, hi, hello. My name is Jessie. I'm just a person who loves people so much and hopes that the things that I talk about allows you to have a little bit more love and compassion for yourself. And hopefully you can extend that out to other people as well eventually. If you're not new, hey, hi, hello. We changed the name of the channel to J Lightworker instead of Y'all Ask for This. I feel like it just gives me the capacity to talk more about the energy work that I love and being like a multi-dimensional medium and kind of tapping into that kind of stuff, as well as, working through emotions and just allowing people to, feel their stuff and know that like it's okay to be human and just ways to help with that. So today we are not going to be doing any kind of like multi-dimensional type of stuff. We're going to talk about how doing your best is kind of this thing that keeps us in this never-ending, like, stuck, unhappy place. So let's talk about it. Actually, before we talk about it, I do want to note that I will be doing a pick a card at the end of this video. So if that's what you're here for, just go ahead and pick your word. You can pick wish, guidance, or foundation, and then I'll leave timestamps below. If that's what you're here for, you can just go straight to that. Let's talk about doing your best and why it's this perpetual thing that just really doesn't exist. And I say that because it really is one of those things that has so many factors to it. So oftentimes when we're trying to get to something or we're trying to accomplish things, telling ourselves that like I did my best doesn't really give us that sense of peace that we think that it's going to, because on some level we know it's a lie. There's always going to be better that you can do. There's always going to be external circumstances that are keeping you from doing the best that you know you can do. So when we sit there and we tell ourselves like, oh, I'm doing the best that I can, we just know that we're lying to ourselves. So it's almost like this cycle of trying to convince yourself of something that like in your soul and in your heart, just like isn't true. And I say that there are always going to be external factors because think about it. If you're somebody who goes to the gym and you're trying to set a new personal best on something, it all depends on how your quality of sleep was the night before, the food that you've taken, the time of day, and your however you love to work out. Sometimes you're just stronger randomly and don't know why, like the stress that you're under, like your emotional state, like there's so many external factors that it's really not that you're not doing your best. It's just that to rewire it into a truth, it's like I'm doing the best that I can under the current circumstances, under my current circumstances. And it sounds so silly to be like, okay, that's just this additional thing, but it makes it more intentional. And when you're more intentional about things, then you really can have things be more truth. There's less open for interpretation type thing. And that includes like with yourself. We don't want to lie to ourselves. But if you're really trying to be like, no, I'm doing my best, I really want this thing, it's getting more intentional with it. And that's when shifts start to happen within. I was actually talking to like a client about this, which is where it came up. It was a massage client. And I was just trying to reassure him that like what he was doing is enough. And he flipped it into like the I'm doing my best. So even just that mindset shift of just saying what I'm doing is enough right now and I'm going to allow the rest of the things to unfold however they unfold is such a game changer, because it's concrete enough but leaves enough open for the universe, for God, for source to come in and kind of like give you the goodness that you can't even imagine. So that's why saying like doing my best under these circumstances or however things are feeling today leaves open for interpretation of, well, tomorrow, like who knows, like maybe it'll be better and maybe it won't be better, and then that's like okay. It releases you of the attachment to the word best. It allows there to be that gray instead of like black and white kind of stuff. So it's just something to think about, because we are kind of taught to just like, well, just do your best, but it's so subjective and the bar keeps changing for it, because when you've hit a personal best, then what's next? Like immediately we're like satisfied and then on to the next thing. Like we want the next thing. Even if we know that it'll take some time to get to the next thing, then it's just like, well, I know now that like that was my best. What's my next best? It's too looking for the next thing, and it doesn't really allow you to be as present in the now as we need to be to really be happy and really be satisfied and really be at peace. Because that's really what this is all about. That's why I love talking about this stuff, because I just want everybody to know that like there's so much more satisfaction and peace and happiness and just joy when you're present with everything and allowing now to be the next present moment, and then now is the next present moment, and just letting it be that, and knowing that yes, you're gonna excel at some point and you might slide back and then you might get a little further and stuff like that, but embracing the now just lets everything feel so much nicer instead of this like force of like, I gotta do it for whatever ego trip, because that's really what it is at the end of the day. It's an ego trip. Like sometimes if you're allowing yourself to do your best with the circumstances that you have, then there's no mental side that will shame or guilt you or whatever, make you feel bad for not hitting like a best. The quote that comes to mind is, if you only had 70% to give today and you gave all 70% of that, then you gave 100%. And it's that. Because we think that like 100%, 110% is your best. But if you're at 70% capacity and you're giving 70%, then you've done your best. And that is, I'm doing my best under the current circumstances. That is why that little bit of intention needs to be there. Because then you're not going to shame and guilt yourself for stuff like that. So just some things to ponder. Are you somebody who tells yourself that you're doing your best and like absolutely knows that it's a lie? Because that was the thing with the client. He said it, and then I was like, but do you believe that? And he was like, nope. And I was like, I know you don't. I know you don't, because we know it's a lie. Like within ourselves, we just know it is. So are you somebody who does that? Are you good about being a little bit more intentional and a little bit more, I don't even want to say forgiving, but the word forgiving is what's coming up. Like just allowing yourself to not be on all the time. It's impossible to be on all the time. And I know that there are so many, you know, on social media and on TV and in movies and stuff, like we're shown these things of like, this is what it looks like and this is what it looks like. But we know in our soul that like that's not being a human. A lot of the times these things are so curated to look a certain way. So really allowing yourself to just kind of like let that conditioning go and tap back into you and knowing that like, no, this is what it's like to be a human. I'm not 100% all the time, and that's okay. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if that was helpful. Just a little ponder thing, just that additional intention. Just doing my best with what I have and how I feel today. Oh, so glorious. So let's go ahead and get into these cards. I am going to have to look up the book because this is the 7 Energies, or Oracle of the 7 Energies by Colette Baron Reed. And each card is like associated with an energy. So I do want to check in on that. But if you are the Wish group, this card is going to be for you. I set the intention that the message is for your highest good and your highest timeline. And I'm shuffling high, and I'm going to cut high just because my setup is not friendly for this, you know? Which is great. A powerful move. We love that. This is already giving like, where do you want to go and what do you want to do? And then letting yourself really embrace that and sit with it, and then doing something about it. This feels very like grounded to me, in the sense of like, oftentimes we get so stuck in this like mental space. You know, we're taught that like the law of attraction is just like believing and thinking, but there's so much work that goes into actually believing as opposed to just thinking. Like you do have to still take steps towards the thing, because the universe is just like, okay, cool, you're having like all these great thoughts, like yay, but it also needs you to do that like 1% of the work so it can fly in with the other 99%. I am gonna check the book really quick, so give me 1 second. Oh yeah, I love it so much. It's fire energy. So it is that action behind everything. It's that personal power, the will, the assertiveness, action, movement, joy, anger, transformation. And then the key concepts that are actually like from the book for this card are action, movement with purpose, effort, putting into motion your intention. I totally just said that. And making choices from an empowered and thoughtful place. Positive changes. So really just like letting yourself do it. Like the transformation is going to happen and you just gotta start taking those steps. So let me know if this was helpful and if it resonates with you. And yeah, on to number 2. All right, this is for the guidance group. I set the intention that this message is for your highest good and your highest timeline. And I'm shuffling up high just so that we can see everything that's happening. I am going to check the book because with this deck, it is like also associated with like energies. So I'm going to double check like what they are because they're not always what I think they're going to be. The Oracle's Gift. Okay, I love this. So as far as guidance goes, like this kind of feels like it's really about allowing yourself to have the space to receive guidance. So kind of like giving yourself those moments of intentional just like quiet so that you can really see the things that have already been coming in for you to lead you in the right direction. Whether that's actually sitting to meditate and like tapping in with your personal guides, or if it's really just like slowing yourself down enough to see what is being talked about in your conversations, or if something is like repeating in your vicinity and it's like in a song and then you hear somebody saying something and then there's like an angel number on a car, like really allowing yourself to slow down enough to see into those things. And then so that you can also grow your own intuition is what's coming through for this too. It's like you have the guidance and it's very much like now sit with it also and let yourself discern truly like what feels good to you and what is being said to you. Because somebody can tell you what angel numbers mean, but it doesn't mean that that's like what feels right to you. You know, like we all still have our own guideposts of like, this is actually what it means for me and this is what it actually means to like other people. So give me 1 second. I'm going to look in the book to see what energy this is under. Okay, so yes, this energy is under the light energy and it is about intuition, vision, imagination, knowing, perception, and mental states. So very reassuring for what I just said about things. And then the key concepts of the card itself is second sight, clairvoyance, seeing the future, fate as the future determined by the choices you make now, seeing the signs around you, and just recognizing potentials versus absolute determination or determinism. So yeah, just kind of reiterating what I already said to you, just kind of allowing all of that to come in and just like sitting with it. Allow yourself to see this stuff. It's all there and you are tapped in. It's just letting yourself see it. Let me know if this is helpful or if it resonates with you in the comments. And now we're going to go on to card number 3. So this is going to be for the foundation group. I set the intention that this message is for your highest good and your highest timeline. And I'm shuffling really high so that you can see like the shuffle and the cut. And I'm also going to check the book because this deck is Oracle of the 7 energies. So there's like energies associated with it too. And they're not always what I expect them to be. So look at that heart. This has to be about love, right? We would think. We'll see. Beautiful uncaging. Foundation group. How stunning. This is really about like, look at that. Like unlocking your heart and letting that be your new foundation for things. Like beautiful uncaging is just like, it's so freedom feeling to me and so rooted because of all of this red coming in. And so like that's such like the foundational chakra is your root chakra with the red color. So just really allowing yourself to let that love start to shine through and let that be your anchor for things, which I know is easier in concept than it is saying it out loud because we're people and you know we want things and like finances and stuff, but really just trusting and starting to even like dip your toe into the fact that like, oh, if I just do these things that I love, you know, my community is suddenly coming around me, like my real community, my like heart, soul centered community is coming around me. Or if I really start tapping into my stuff, you know, suddenly, you know, the right people are going to find me for my business. Even though I thought it needed to look this one way, like mind-blowingly, it's coming in this completely other way that I couldn't have even imagined if I were trying to force it in the way that I thought. So really just like letting yourself be free a little bit more and doing things from a heart-centered space, and just kind of like allowing that to be your foundation. Just kind of continuing to note it within yourself, just like leading with love is what's coming in. Like, lead with love. I'm leading with love. I'm leading with love. And if you're catching yourself in like a not as leading with love kind of state, just like reminding that, like, let that be your mantra for a little bit. But let me double check what we are looking at really quick. Okay, yeah. So this is actually the water energy that's coming in, and that's going to be connection, which is kind of what we talked about, sexuality, intimacy, birthing desire, pleasure, feelings, and fluidity. So really like, uncaging your heart is like, it really is such an intimate thing. It's yeah. Which is probably why it's so difficult a lot of the time, is because it's like you just feel so open and seen and just like vulnerable almost, but letting that kind of be the fluid motion that then lets things reground into your desire, and allowing your feelings of that love to really lead. And then the key concept of the card that it actually says, the prison of guilt, a need for self-inventory, rigorous honesty, accountability, and making amends. So holding yourself accountable too for like, where are you blocking things? That's a tough one. It's annoying to like have to look at yourself like that, but like, where are you blocking things? You know, where are you maybe holding on to a lower emotion where love is like really trying to come through, but you're just like, no, I'm sticking with this one, and grumble because they're wrong and I'm right, but that's like keeping you in the stuck place. So really allowing yourself to just kind of like crack open and be like, you know what? Yes, it's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine because it's setting me free to let go of those lower emotions, and now my foundation can be more loving. So let me know how this resonates with you. Does it make sense? Is it landing well? Or if not, and thanks for hanging with me. And if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. Please consider liking and subscribing. It really does make me very, very happy. And leave some comments. I really do love like the feedback and just kind of seeing if what I'm talking about is helping people, because God, I just want to help the peeps. But I will see you in the next one. And if you are interested, I do have some shorts going on as well, kind of talking about like the colors that you wear, which, look at me, I'm still rocking all this blue, which is one of the colors I've talked about before. So go ahead and check that out too. It's very short, under a minute. We love that. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.